Mr. Ram, anyway, ṣé mo lè pè yín later? Is it good? It's good. Okay, good evening, great scholars. Welcome back to EduTop Scholars lecture series. Today, 202, that is Communication in English 2. For those in ND2, either ND2 full-time or part-time. So I will give you a breakdown of what you expect in the exam. The exam for JNS 202 will have 4 different sections. That is section A, B, C, and D. So I'm going to be answering questions from 4 different sections under 2 hours. That's under 2 hours. The first part, which is section A, is going to be a general section. A general section where you're going to have objective questions. And don't forget, the objective questions are not going to be multiple choice questions. They are going to be fill in the gaps, where you are going to have about 30 gaps to fill, which means that section will give you 30 marks of the 60 marks of the exam. Alright, section A, 30 objective questions or 30 gaps to be filled. Okay, that's section A. Then your section B is going to be another section, another topic entirely. So your section B is going to be letter writing. That is correspondence. You are going to write just one letter. You are going to write a letter. In that section, we are going to give you 2 or 3 topics. You are going to choose just one topic to write a letter on. So you are going to write letter for section B. Then section C, that is writing for publication. In that section, you are going to be required to write an article. You are going to write an article. In that section as well, we are going to give you 2 or 3 topics. You are going to choose one of the topics and you are going to write a good article, a publishable article on the topic. And section D is going to be on report writing. So report writing, we are going to give you questions on report writing, project report writing. The questions are going to cover some aspect of report writing. Then you are going to choose which one. Although one of the each of the questions will cover just one aspect of the topic, and I know you must have at least one topic that you really like to discuss. So 4 sections in one exam. Section A, objective questions. Section B, letter writing. Section C, writing for publication, that is article writing. Then section D, report writing. Let me tell you something about the aspect of the writing for publication. Though you are going to choose one topic, but I will advise that you choose a topic that will give you the opportunity to have ideas that you can express yourself better in. So then, for the section B, which is letter writing, you are going to choose one of the topics for letter writing there. But I think you have the opportunity to choose which topic you can write a very good letter about. So I'm going to be treating a past question with you, just for you to have a general idea of how the structure of the exam is. So this past question is for 2023-2024 session, the immediate past section. That's 23-24 session. I think those who wrote this exam are now graduates. That is, they are no more in school. So I'm going to start from section A. Now, the section A, do we have problem with the sound? Somebody already complained here. Please, sir, the sound is not clear and I'm not hearing you properly. I think I notice it from here. It's cracking. I want us to work on that, please. Speaker is another issue now because it's not clear. So we cannot hear clearly. We can't even hear anything now. So the sound is not really clear. Is it okay now? It's perfect now. Okay, I think the sound is okay now. Okay, let's continue, please. Now for section A. Now the section A is going to have two options. You either answer the first option or the second option. The first option is going to be a passage. Now a passage where you are going to have missing words and you are going to supply the missing words for each of the gaps, and the missing words are supplied after the passage, and you are just going to choose any word that is appropriate for every and for each gap in the passage. So for example, the passage we have here for section A, that is passage A. Now it is on communication. I will read the passage, and if you check under the passage, please display the question on the screen. Do you have the question on the screen? Okay. If you check the passage, we see after the passage we have a number of words, that is 10 different words. Now each of the words is expected to be used to fill the gaps. Each of the gaps there. We are still having problem with. It's not okay. Oh, it is still cracking, sir. Please, we are working on the sound. It will be fine soon. No. No, I think it would be better if I have a feedback too. Okay. Still cracking. It's worse now, sir. Not hearing properly. Now, why do we have problem with the sound this night? Okay. So the sound, sir. Okay, it's perfect now. Ah, the questions are not clear. That's another comment. What can we do to that? Okay. I think please I sent the past question to your class reps already. You should have a copy of the question with you. It is the same question I sent to them that I have here. Okay, so let's go. Now the first option for section A is a passage. Now that passage will have a number of words after it. So you are going to choose each of the words to fill the gaps in the passage. Please check the sound again. Is it good? Are we good? Okay. Okay, let's continue. I'm going to read the passage, and I'm going to fill each of the gaps with appropriate words here. Now, communication at all levels is indispensable. The best known media of communication in Africa are radio, television, and the newspaper. For one reason or another, none of this is sufficiently accessible to their rural population. For instance, newspapers are obviously of limited use because rural communities are largely illiterate. Television is not much help. Either studios are built in cities that are very remote to the rural population, or the base of television set is in most cases productive. Radio seems to be the answer. The radios are cheap, easily operated, and even with just two wave band, even with just two wave band, most have more than two, are immensely flexible, provided that even with just two, is the sound okay? Not yet. It's clear with you?
Yes.
So what is happening? We can't hear. That is what they are saying here. It's clear here, so it cannot be my microphone. Please check it. Check the sound now. Check the sound now, please. Are we on? That's serious. It's better. Okay. Shall we continue? Okay. Okay, we are starting again. So section A, the first passage. Communication at all levels is indispensable. The best non-media of communication in Africa are radio, television, and the newspaper. For one reason or another, none of this is sufficiently accessible to the rural population. For instance, newspapers are obviously of limited use because rural communities are largely illiterate. Television is not much help. Either studios are built in cities that are very remote to the rural population, or the base of television set is in most cases productive. Radio seems to be the answer. The radio are cheap, easily operated, and even with just 2 wave band, most have more than 2. Flexible, provided that the transmitter is strong enough. Message can be conveyed for hundreds of kilometers. Listeners can tune in to the radio wherever they may be, at home, on the farm, and even while traveling. Okay, we have the 10 words already used to fill the gaps in each of the to fill the gaps in the passage. Now, the second option is for you to identify the discipline or the profession or the field of study that uses each of the words. So we're going to have a group of words. Often we give you 10 words, 10 different words, and those 10 words will belong to, each of them will belong to a particular profession, a particular trade, or a particular field of study. So in this case now we have these 10 words. Number 1, dark room. Now, for dark room, just think which profession uses dark room as one of the registers, as one of the words. If you check very well, dark room is usually used in photography. That is photography. It is used in photography. Then number 2, oligarchy. Now, for those of you that take citizenship education as a course, oligarchy is a type of government. So it is used in government. It is used in government. Then wide area network. That is WAN, WAN. Wide area network. Where is it used? It is used in ICT. That's information and communication technology. Then wave band. The next one. Okay, the next one. Overdraft. Overdraft is used in banking and finance. Okay. Number 5, communication. Communication is used in media. It's used in media. Then number 6, pathology. Pathology is used in science or medicine. It's used in science. It's also used in education, science-based education. Then racket. Racket is used in sport. I think that's one of the equipment they use to play lawn tennis. Then devotee. That's number 8. Devotee is used in religion. Then number 9, hat-trick. Hat-trick is used in football. Hat-trick is used in football. Then term paper. Term paper is used in education. Now, if you have 10 words and they ask you to identify the profession or the discipline where we use each of those words, I think that would be cheaper for you. Now, if you think filling up gaps in a paragraph, in a passage, will be too difficult for you, you can choose that. So you have 2 options. Either to choose a passage where you're going to fill gaps, or you choose the option of you having to identify the profession or the field of study where we use some group of words. So that is for that aspect. But the section still continues with objective questions to fill the gaps. Now, number 11 now here. Number 11. So that means the first option has given you 10 marks already. 10 marks. So number 11. The addressee in a letter. Do we have the question on? Okay. The addressee in a letter is dash. The addressee is the person that is receiving the letter. That is the recipient. The recipient. That is the receiver of the letter. Then, number 12. The closing part of a letter is known as, we call it complimentary close. Complimentary close. That's when you say yours sincerely or yours faithfully, as the case may be. So it's called the complimentary close. Number 13. Dash is the ideal form of salutation in the formal letter writing. Now, in any formal letter, the ideal form of salutation is dear sir or dear ma. Now, I've said this severally that you don't need to say dear sir or ma if you are not writing maybe notice of meeting or whatever. So, but if you are writing a formal letter, you either say dear sir or dear ma. That is the ideal form of salutation. Then number 14. One difference between an essay and facial article is, now just look at the structure of a letter and the structure of an article. No article will require you to write the address of the writer. So the major difference is the address. We don't have address in article writing, but we have address in letter. So one difference between an essay and feature article. Okay, it's not letter writing, it's an essay. So one difference between an essay and I think the question is, one difference between a letter and a feature article is the address. Then a business letter carries one address, true or false. A business letter carries one address, true or false. I think some of you would know that answer already. Now, business letter carries 2 addresses, not one address. So that is false. That is false. Then number 16, business letters are categorized into dash, 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 and dash. Now, in classroom, I taught you that we have 4 types of business letters. 4 types of business letters. So, a business letter are categorized into either information letter, goodwill letter, sales letter, or a problem letter. So those are the 4 types of business letter. Then number 17, Write out the three factors that determine the use of registers. So the factor that determines the use of registers are just three. The field of discourse, the mode of discourse, and the tenor of discourse. Those are the three factors. Don't forget, factors that determine the use of register. The field of study is the field of discourse is the first factor, then the mode of discourse, then we have the tenor of discourse. Number 18, a memorandum is used to exchange information in an organization. A memorandum, there's something wrong with that question. A memorandum is used to exchange information, okay, within an organization. That is the major use of a memo. We use the memo to exchange information within an organization. So the answer there is within. I will go over the question again. A memorandum is used to exchange information within an organization. Now let's turn over to question number 19. Question number 19. Academic article is publishable in, where do we publish academic article? In journals. So we publish academic articles in journals. Number 20. The three formats of reports are dash, dash, and dash. Okay. We have regular format of a routine, of a report. We have regular or routine. Then we have commission or special. Then we have occasional. So those are the three formats of a report. So I will go through the question again. That's question 20. The three formats of reports are the routine or regular report, then commission or special report, then occasional report. 21. Dash and dash are the two types of letters that can be classified under information letter. Dash and dash are the two types of letter that can be classified under information letter. Okay, if you write an introduction letter, it is a type of information letter. Then if you write letter of inquiry, it's an information letter. Quotation is an information letter. So those are examples of information letter. So that is the end of section A. Now if you notice, the number of gaps you are going to fill there will amount to 30, and that means you have 30 marks for section A. So pay attention closely to section A. If you already have 30 marks, but at least you scoring 25 or thereabouts in section A, you are already very close to having a very good grade in this course. So let's go to section B. Now, section B is letter writing. You are done with short answers now. Every answer I'm going to give now will be in prose form. Letter writing, article writing, report writing. This is where you are going to show your skill in writing. Now, writing is one of the language skills, and it is something you should develop over time. It is very essential that you have that skill. You are able to write effectively. Now, this is where we test your writing ability. Section B is writing, section C is writing, then section D is also writing. You can notice that we have letter writing, article writing, then report writing. You are going to write in this remaining part of the question. So, section B, letter writing. We are going to give you 2 letters, sometimes 3 letters, then you choose just 1 letter of your choice. So, in this case, we have this letter. Write an invitation letter to a well-acclaimed scholar in your field to deliver a talk during your departmental week that holds in 4 weeks' time. I'm going through that again. Write an invitation letter to a well-acclaimed scholar in your field to deliver a talk during your departmental week that holds in 4 weeks' time. That's the first topic. Then the second one, write an application letter for industrial training attachment to any organization of your choice. Now, what you should notice is each of these topics for letter writing is on formal letter writing. None of them is informal letter. Now, that is the first thing you should identify. Once you identify it to be a formal letter, it means you are going to have two addresses. And for a formal letter, don't forget we have 9 different components. 9 components of a formal letter. Now, out of the 9 components, 2 of the components are optional. 2 of the components are optional. I think we are going to close the door. The noise is coming in. So the components are, number 1, the address of the writer. Number 2, the date. Date is a separate component, and that's why when you write, after writing the address of the writer, you should leave a line before you write your date. Date should stand as a separate component in a letter. So number 2 component is date. Then number 3 component is the recipient's address. That is the address of the person receiving your letter, the recipient address. Then number 4 component is the attention line, which is very optional. Most letter will not have the attention line, and maybe before the end of the discussion I'm going to tell you the importance of attention line. So the number 5 component is the salutation. The salutation is just the normal short greeting in a formal letter. That is dear sir or dear ma. Then number 6 component, that is the heading of the letter, that is the subject of the letter. So the heading of your letter must be able to summarize the purpose of your letter. So if they ask you to write invitation letter, you don't need to stress yourself. Just write invitation as the heading of the letter. Invitation. Or most of the time, some of the time we may have it expanded as invitation to deliver a talk. Invitation to deliver a talk. Now, but if you just write invitation as the heading, you are okay. Now, the number 7 component. Number 7 component is the body of the letter. After the heading, now you go straight to the body of the letter. The body of the letter is divided into 3. And this is where you are going to show your skill. The body of the letter is divided into 3. The first part is the introduction, where you are going to introduce the subject of the letter. That is what you have to discuss in the letter you want to introduce is to us in your introduction. Now, after the introduction, we have the main body of the letter. The main body of the letter is where you discuss the several ideas that you need to discuss in that letter. So the body of the letter may have 2 paragraphs, 3 paragraphs, 4 paragraphs, depending on the number of ideas you have to discuss. Don't forget, each paragraph is each paragraph is an idea. That's why we define a paragraph as a unit of idea or a unit of thought. So whenever you have ideas to be discussed, either in an article or in a letter, each of the ideas should be in a paragraph. You don't discuss 2 ideas in a paragraph. 1 idea, 1 paragraph. So for your letter writing, you can have an outline for the ideas you want to discuss in that letter. Have an outline, so your outline will remind you of the next thing you have to discuss. So that is number 7 component. The number 8 component is the complementary clause. And sorry about this, the last part of the body, I told you the body is divided into 3 parts. The introduction, the main body, then the last part is the conclusion. You have to conclude your letter. You have to conclude your letter. You don't just end your letter at the main body. So the conclusion is for you to summarize or emphasize on the major or the important thing you have discussed in the letter. So then the next component, which is number 8 component, is the complementary clause. The complementary clause is the closing part of your letter, the closing remark and for a formal letter it is usually yours faithfully. That is the complementary clause, yours faithfully. Now, like I always tell you, your complementary clause can also reduce your mark if you make any error there. Your complementary clause, yours faithfully, the yours begins with a capital letter, not a small letter. Then there is nothing like apostrophe in the yours, either before the last S or after the S. So you don't use up. I've seen several cases where students will write yours and they will put an inverted comma before S. Now, that will make it a wrong complementary clause. So it should be yours without any punctuation. Then the faithfully should begin with a small letter. Always take note of that. Should begin with a small letter. And after the yours faithfully, you must have a comma. So all of this, if you begin your yours faithfully with a small letter Y, the examiner is going to circle it. That is a ring, and a ring is minus half. Then if you have the inverted comma there, it's another error. That's another ring minus half. Then if you write your yours faithfully without a comma, there's no help you to put a comma there. Don't forget that comma is going to be in red pen and it's going to be circled, and that is another ring. So remember to put a comma after yours faithfully. Then immediately after the complementary clause yours faithfully, you are going to leave a space before you write your full name. Then I must tell you this: a formal letter requires that you write your name in full. Ademola Ayomide Clement. That is your full name. Don't say yours faithfully Clement. Write your name in full. Then after your name, if there is any information you need to add that you think is necessary, for example, your matric number, if you're writing a formal letter within the school, maybe a letter of complaint or any letter, now, and you think it is necessary for you to put your identity, your matric number is a way to identify you, your matric number. And if you think the recipient may likely want to call you, you can put your phone number there. There is no rule that says you cannot put your phone number after the complementary clause, then after your name. So that is it for complementary clause. But the last component, we call it end of letter notations. Most people don't take that aspect seriously. Now they think it is completely optional, but sometimes it may be necessary for you to write, to have some end of letter notations in your letter. For example, the second letter here, write an application letter for industrial training attachment to any organization of your choice. And this kind of a letter, you must have at least one end of letter notation. In this, you can have enclosure notation. Enclosure notation is an end of letter notation where you are going to write the list of any documents you have attached to your letter. This is always necessary because when you submit your letter and you attach some document to it and you don't indicate those documents in the enclosure notation. Now, sometimes your document may get lost on transit. Now, if you have put the document in the enclosure notation, they would take notes, they will notice that you attached these documents, but they are not there. They can trace it back to the point at which you submitted it. They can trace it back to the secretary that received the letter from you. So it is necessary that you have end of letter notation in some of your letters, especially the application letter. Enclose some of your documents, maybe your credentials, your CV. So when you enclose, just put after the complementary clause, just put, sometimes we use ENC, as some people write it in full, enclosure, then with a colon, then you put a list of those items you have attached to your letter in it. So that is why we always emphasize that sometimes it may be necessary for you to have end of letter notation. Some of the end of letter notation that we have are the carbon copy notation, which is indicated by CC. Carbon copy means you are sending a copy of the letter to somebody who is going to be a third party to that letter. So either one carbon copy or two. If you are sending carbon copy to it, you write their names there, either one person or more than one person, so you can write their names there. Then you can have blind copy. Blind copy notation is a notation that indicates that you have sent a copy of your letter to somebody, that is a third party, without the consent or without the knowledge of the original recipient. It is called blind copy because the original recipient is blind to the fact that you have sent a copy to somebody. We usually use blind copy in letters that are confidential letters, and you want somebody to know that you have written a letter to somebody without that person you have written it to knowing that you sent copy to a superior authority. So we use it as blind copy notation. It's not going to be on the original copy, but it's going to be on the copy you are sending to the third party. I think I've explained that more in class. So we also have enclosure notation that I explained before. Enclosure notation. Then we have distribution notation. Distribution notation is usually used in a memo, not in a formal letter. We use it in a memo. When you send a memo out, you put distribution notation there to make a list of people that are supposed to receive the memo. And when you notice most memo you have seen, you will see that after the memo there is a notation there, distribution, and after the distribution you have a list of people that will have to receive the memo. Okay, so that is the importance of end of letter notation. So I've told you all the components of a letter. So most of these components, apart from the attention line and end of letter notation, all other components are compulsory, mandatory in a formal letter. The writer's address, the date, the recipient's address, the salutation, the heading or the topic or the title of your letter, then the body of the letter. After the body of the letter, then you have the complimentary clause. Those are the most important components of a letter. So in this letter now, the second letter says write an application letter for industrial training attachment to any organization of your choice. This is an application letter. So you are going to choose a suitable title or heading for such letter. Now your heading should be able to summarize the purpose of the letter, like I said. Now check the two letters when you're writing your exam this time. Check the two letters very well. Which one do you think you can write effectively? So that's why you have a choice. So let's go to section C now. So before we start section C, let's have a short break to small break, a short break. So please continue with kini todo mi o ma te wa bí mo láti kan ṣá. What's wrong? Coming. Excuse me, please, I will have to. Section C, writing for publication. Writing for publication. So in this section, you are going to write an article, just one article. We give you 2 or 3 topics, and you are going to choose one of the topics. You are going to write a very good article. Yeah, the intention of the examiner here is to require you to write a publishable article. When we say an article is publishable, that is, we can publish it in any maybe national dailies, or we can publish it in a journal, we can publish it in a magazine. So it should be publishable. Now, if you think your article is publishable, it means you have done a very good job in writing the article. Now, one of the topics here is hike in the prices of commodities in Nigeria. This is a topic. Now, how are you going to write an article on a topic like that? Hike in the prices of commodity in Nigeria. Okay, you are a Nigerian. This scenario now is what is affecting everybody. There has been an unusual increase in the prices of several commodities in Nigeria, and it must have been affecting you as well. Now, just feel like you are in a real life situation and you want to express your feelings on this. Now, an article is to express your feeling about a particular idea and make it a reality, to express yourself, to express your mind, your feelings on this issue in the country. Now, you must have an outline for your article. And what are you going to have in the outline? Several ideas, several things you need to discuss on the topic. So just make a list of them. Now, at the end of the day, you may have about 4 ideas to discuss. You may have about 5 ideas to discuss. So the number of ideas you have will determine the number of paragraphs you are going to have in your article. So if you don't have an outline for your article, you may not know the direction of your article. So from the onset, you will be able to determine the length or the content of your article if you have an outline. You already know the number of paragraphs you want to have in this article. And see, the number of paragraphs you have will contribute to the mark you are going to earn under content. And at this junction, I would like to explain to you that to mark your article, even your letter, there are 4 parameters that are always necessary. Let me explain that to you. Do we have a marker here? Okay, let me quickly say something on that so that you know how to plan your letter and your article. So we are going to consider 4 different things. Okay. So these three items are the parameters for evaluating your article or your letter. Now, the first item there is the content. That is the C, the content. Now, we are going to mark your content, and your content carries the higher mark. Your content carries the higher mark. Now, your expression carries the highest mark. Take note, content the higher mark, expression the highest mark. So let's start from the content. The content of your letter means the major ideas you have discussed in the letter. Now, sometimes we'll give you a topic and some of you will deviate from the topic and you start discussing some other things. That means your discussion is out of content. You may not score any mark under content in that regard. And if you are supposed to discuss in depth a particular topic and you have just discussed it on the surface, you may lose some marks as well. So your content is very important. And like I said before we got to this, that the number of paragraphs you have most of the time will contribute to the mark you are going to earn under content. That is very important. The number two item there is organization. Now, organization means even when you have ideas, if you are not able to organize the ideas very well, it may go wrong. So the way you have organized your idea is another very important aspect of your article or your letter. Now, if you are supposed to say something at the initial aspect of the essay and you fail to do that and you are discussing it later, now that means your organization is not very good. Your organization is poor. Now, your organization will mean that you have arranged all of your ideas either chronologically or sequentially. Now, you must have a proper arrangement of your ideas. Organize them properly, organize them sequentially, and organize them logically. That is what we mean by organization. Then expression. Expression means how well you have been able to communicate your idea using very good expressions in the English language. Now, your writing must not contain too much of errors. We mark your errors under expression. We mark your errors. Now, your grammatical errors are marked under expression. Then the last one, mechanical accuracy. That is where we mark your punctuation and capitalization. If you don't punctuate your article very well, you will lose some marks. So, in this exam, your letter carries 10 marks. Your article also carries 10 marks. Then the report writing also carries 10 marks. So the 10 marks in your letter writing, the contents will be maybe 2 marks. Then organization, so the content will be 3 marks, organization 2 marks, your expression 3 marks, then mechanical accuracy 2 marks. So making 10 marks. So pay attention to the way you make your expressions to avoid committing errors. Any error cited will attract a ring, and a ring is minus half. So you lose marks when you commit grammatical errors. Your expressions in any letter or article must be simple and correct. Simple and correct. So that is it. Okay, so we are still on article writing. The number 2 question there is, local government autonomy, a step in the right direction. Local government autonomy, a step in the right direction. Now, this type of article is an argumentative article, and this will take us to different types of article. When you see a topic, the topic should be able to tell you the type of article you are writing. Now, you should have a choice of the type of article you want to write in your exam. Now, um, an argumentative article is very, very technical because you are addressing two sides of a particular issue, and you are going to support one side of it. The side you are going to support will be discussed more. That does not mean that you are not going to say something about the other side. You say something about it, but even when you say something good about the other side, you already know and you already have another thing you want to use to counter that good thing you have said about the other side. So when you are discussing argumentative article, you belong to one side, but you also mention something about the other side too. In fact, you mention something, you have to mention something that is good about the other side too. But once you mention something that is good, you should be able to use a contradictory expression like but. Okay, once you have praised something, but you later say but. Okay, now we know that even that good aspect has a clause that will later negate it. So this number 2 question is an argumentative article. So apart from argumentative article, we have expository article. Expository article is any article that will make you explain a particular concept which is believed to be unknown to several people. That is, you are now going to expose what they don't know to them. That's why we call it expository article. You are going to explain a process. You are going to explain a concept. You are going to explain the step-by-step development of a particular thing. That is what we call expository article. In that article, you want to be an expert. You want to let people know that you really know about this thing you are discussing, and you want to open their eyes to a lot of aspects of it that they don't know. That is expository. Then sometimes an article may be persuasive in nature, so we say it is a persuasive article. In that case, you are writing to persuade some people, to convince them to believe in what you believe, to convince them to accept what you have accepted. So in this kind of article, we can have political talk where you want to convince some people about your party, about your program, about your agenda, about some other things. So you are persuading and so on. So whichever article you are going to write, please make sure you have an outline of your ideas. For example, you have an argumentative article like causes of student failure in higher institutions or in tertiary institutions. Now, for that kind of article, it is argumentative. It is expository. You want to let us know some things we don't know about why students fail exam. Now, you have to get your ideas documented before you start the write-up. So I am emphasizing outline here because I know it works. Number 1, you won't forget an idea. So at ideation stage is when you are piling up your idea before you start writing. At ideation stage, begin to jot down your points. Before you know it, you have enough points. In fact, you may have to cancel out some points that are not necessary. You will see the weight of each of the items you have to discuss, and some of them will be weighty than the other. So you take the ones that have more weight over those that have less weight. So you can, at that time, remove some of your ideas and you leave those that are very important to discuss. So the number of ideas you have, like I said, will determine the number of paragraphs you are going to have in your article, and that will make it fine and good to go. So let's leave section C alone now and go to section D. Don't forget, I said compulsorily your exam is going to be in 4 sections: A, B, C, and D. So the last section now is on report writing. Now, I already discussed some aspect of report writing with you in class, and I emphasize on meaning of reports. If you are writing the exam on report writing, you must know, you must be able to define report. You know, it is very important that you know the meaning of report. Now, most of the questions you are going to answer, even if there is no question like what is report, or define a report, if there are no questions like that, there will be some questions that will require you to define report first before you start answering the question. So, for example, the questions we have here, question D1, identify and explain 4 reasons which make report writing in an organization a useful enterprise. So there is nothing wrong in it if you are starting with the definition of a report before you now begin to say importance of report. So you can interpret this question to mean importance of report. Now look at it. Identify and explain 4 reasons which make report writing in an organization a useful enterprise. We are asking you to discuss importance of report. That is what it means. So another aspect of it is you must be able to interpret question so that you won't go to a wrong direction. Then number 2, mention and discuss any 5 features of a good report. Okay, now this option of the question is to me a lucky one, because what you are asked to do here is not too much for a student. Now if you are to discuss importance of a report, why do we write report? Number 1, you see, anytime you are writing a report, your report is towards solving a particular problem. Now you want to gather information on how to come about the solution to a particular problem. Now that means one important function or important feature of a report. Now one important aspect of report is that it is used to solve problem. It is used to solve problem. So that is one important aspect of it. Number 2, report is also used to keep record. We use report to keep record in an organization. Now when you make a finding now and you come out with a particular result on that finding, the organization is going to keep that record for a very long time. Whenever there is a similar problem, they don't have to go too far to prefer solution to it. They already have somebody presented a result, a solution to such problem before. So they just go and withdraw or retrieve the information you have given them before on that problem, and the problem is solved. So that is another thing. Then report is also used to make decision in an organization. It is useful in decision making in an organization. So we use it to make decision. Now sometimes it will be difficult for an organization to take decision in isolation of a report. When there is a problem, now they can set up a committee or a team to go and work on that problem, and that committee will come up with a solution. Now they will make their finding, then later come out or come up with a solution to the problem. So in that case, now it will aid their process of decision making. It will be very easy and very convenient for them to make decision in that way. Now all of this and some other items are importance of a report. Number 1, like I said, it is good in providing solution to problems. Number 2, it is good in record keeping in an organization. Number 3, it is also good in making decision in an organization. Now, at this level, I'm just making it very simple for you to understand. There are technical ways of saying this, but I just want to uh, make it so simple for you to discuss. Now, it is problem solving. It is good for record keeping. It is good for sharing knowledge. Now, somebody has the knowledge of how to go about a thing and is sharing the knowledge with some other people. So that's one important aspect of it too. It is good for sharing knowledge. Then it gives accountability. Now, you'll be able to give account of a particular process. So it is very good in ensuring accountability. Then it is a very good way of communication in an organization. So some organization that will always provide their members with annual financial report. Now, every member of the organization will have access to such report, and in that way, they are making communication very easy for everybody in that organization. So the communication aspect of a report is very, very important as well. So those are the several importance of report writing. Then the number 2 question, which says, mention and discuss any 5 features of a good report. Okay, that is characteristics of a good report. If it is a good report, then it must be able to provide facts. It should be factual. A very good report must be factual. That is number 1. Number 2, it must be objective in nature. The ideas you are presenting, the findings, the result, the discussion should be objective. How? It should be objective because the ideas you are bringing are not your ideas. They are facts that are verifiable. So you should give room for other people to verify it and at least testify that it is true, that is a fact. So it must be objective. You don't impose your idea on others when writing a report. Your report must be objective. That is the quality of a good report. Then your report must be concise, which means your report must not be too wordy. That is, you must not use too much expressions in your report. Just explain it in a very simple term that people will be able to understand. Now, that is to ensure economy. Economy means you being able to economize your words. In that case, you won't be able, you'll be able to express yourself in little words, not too much of words. Okay, so that is another aspect of it. That's a quality of a good report. Then another quality of a good report is that it must be credible. Credibility is an essential part of a report. It must be credible. That is, you must be able to verify it, and we must be able to say that, oh, it is true. It should be credible, meaning that people should be able to believe it. It should be believable. It must be something that will not contain lies, that people will begin to doubt it. It must not be doubtful. Then another one is that it must be a source of knowledge. Now, if you submit a report, that report must be a source of knowledge. It must be able to give us a clue about a particular thing. So that knowledge aspect of it is very essential, because when you are providing a result, that result must be able to give us knowledge on a particular aspect of life. Then your report must also be able to acknowledge some other sources that you have contacted in the process of your research. So if it is a good report, there must be reference to several sources you have contacted during the research work. Now, this is very important. Please take note of all this in report writing. Number 1, meaning of report. These 2 questions may not be part of your question when you are writing your exam. It may be some other part of the it may be some other part of report writing. For example, let me see if I have another question here. Okay, look at this. Identify and explain 4 reasons which make report writing an organization. Okay, that is the same one. Please, do I have another question there? Question. More questions. Okay, look at this question. This is another option of GNS 202. This one says, number 1, what is a report? You can see now, that's the definition of a report. Number 2, explain 4 functions of a report. Now, when we say functions of a report, it is the same thing as importance of report. Please, function, importance, and usefulness of report, they all mean the same thing. So, explain 4 functions of report. We have discussed that earlier. The another question here is, write short notes on the following. Look at it. Now, we may ask you to write short notes on several aspects of report. Here, write short notes on the following: statutory report, schematic report, letter report, progress report, periodic or routine report. Now, look at this. So, it means you have to cover some areas of report writing, like I've given you. Number 1, meaning of report. Number 2, types of reports. Now, this question now contains types of reports. Look at statutory report, schematic report, letter report, progress report, routine report, and so on. So you must know, you must understand types of report. Then qualities of a good report. Number 3, importance of report. Then number 4, stages in writing report. That's also important. That is the several parts of a report. Several parts of a report. Your introduction, your literature review, your methodology, that is method of data collection, your result discussion, then your conclusion. Now, majorly a report will have 5 different parts, ranging from the introduction, the literature review, the method of data collection, then data discussion, that's number 4. Then the last one, conclusion and recommendation. So those are the 5 essential parts of a report. So you must understand the parts of a report, then qualities of a report, importance of a report, then types of a report. Now, those 5 aspects of report writing, there is no way you won't have questions on them. But I want to tell you that this exam is going to be very simple. Now, it's an exam that you can write and have a very good grade. Just know that it is 4 parts. The first part is objective questions. There, the first set of questions will be on register. You are going to answer questions on register, where we're going to give you a passage. You fill some gaps in the passage with words that will be provided after the passage, or we give you a list of words, that is a list of items of register. Now, relating to a particular field of study. So you just identify what field of study uses each of those words. Okay, so that is section A, and some other objective questions. The objective questions, the remaining part of the option A, will be objective questions to cover article writing, to cover report writing, and to cover letter writing. Then some of them will cover aspect of registers too. And you know, under register, there are other 4 items that we have discussed. We have discussed register, jargons, slangs, and vocabulary. You should be able to differentiate between those things, those 4 items: register, slang, jargon, and vocabulary. Register, slangs, jargons, and vocabulary. So you'll be able to differentiate between them. Don't forget, register just means some certain words that are used in peculiarity to certain profession. That is, when you are talking or discussing on a particular aspect of life, there will be some related words that you are supposed to use in such discussion. People that are discussing events in a tertiary institution now, if your dictionary is all about what happens in tertiary institution, you hear things like porter, registration, course form, school fee, rerun, carryover, and some other things. When people are discussing and you can overhear them saying things like that, you will already know that they are discussing academic. But if you see people discussing and they are mentioning things like injection, ward, doctor, nurse, emergency, and some other things like that, you know their discussion is all about hospital, that is medicine. Then if you see people discussing overdraft, counter, withdrawal, savings, and some other things, that you know it is banking. So that is what we call register. Now, when we give you words like that, you should know what field of study or what aspect of life uses such words, like we have in this example here. So let me give you some words here again. We have a word here, proofread. Proofread is in editing, that is education. Episode, we have episode. Which field of study is, or which discipline, or which field of discourse uses episode? That is film industry, that's entertainment. Then newspaper, that is journalism. We have accused, that is law. Therapy, that is medicine. Duplex, that is building technology, and so on. Then we have hybrid, that could be agriculture, landscaping. Then we have syntax, that is also in education, and so on. So let me see if we have questions here. Somebody says number 16 and number 20. What is in number 16? Question number 16. Business letters are categorized into, okay, we have 4 types of business letter. I've said it before. They are categorized into information letter, sales letter, problem letter, and goodwill letter. So that those are the 4 types of business letters. That is answer to number 16. Business letters are categorized into information, goodwill, sales, and problem letters. Then 16 and what? 16 and 20. Number 20. Question number 20. The 3 formats of reports. We have routine. We have routine or regular report. We have commissioned or special report. Then we have occasional report. Those are the 3 formats of a report. Then we can have letter formats for a report also. We can have some reports in the letter form. We can have them in letter form. Okay. Any other question? Please, your questions. Let's answer some questions briefly before we go. Please, any question? No question.
Number 9,
Number 9 and number 20. I've just explained number 20 now.
9 and 19.
Question number 9. Okay, number 9 is in the passage. I think in the passage. Okay, number 9 in the register aspect of the question is hat trick. Engineer, change battery pack. Okay. Number 9, hat trick. Hat trick is in football. Hat trick is used in football. But number 9 in the passage, let me see. The answer to number 9 is transmitter. Transmitter. That is, provided that the transmitter is strong enough. That's transmitter. Number 9 and 19. Help us recap the 1 to 10. 1 to 10 for which option? The option A or option B? That question is not there. We have 10 in 2 places here. Number 1 to 10 for option A, then number 1 to 10 for option B of the register aspect. Okay, A. Okay, let me read it over again. Communication is at all level. Sorry, communication at all levels is indispensable. Indispensable. The best known media of communication, in Africa are radio, television, and the newspaper. Okay, let me just tell you the answers to each of the gaps. Number 1, the answer to number 1 is indispensable. Number 2, the answer is media. Number 3, the answer is accessible. Number 4, the answer is illiterate. Number 5, the answer is studios. Number 6, the answer is productive. Number 7, the answer is operated. Number 8, the answer is wave band. Number 9, the answer is transmitter. Number 10, the answer is tune in. Number 11, the answer is receiver or recipient. Number 12, the answer is I think what's number okay, number 11, the answer is receiver or recipient. Number 12, complimentary clause. Number 13, the answer is dear sir. I think the person said number 1 to 10. I think I'm going beyond that. Okay, sir. Any other question there that I cannot see?
Jargon, vocabulary.
Okay. Jargons are some technical words that are used in certain profession that only those that belong to that profession will understand it. Now, jargons is not supposed to be understood by people outside a particular profession. It is only people within the profession that will understand jargons. So, as against what you think jargon is, jargon does not mean something that is not making sense. That's not the meaning of jargon. Jargon means certain words that are used in a field or a profession that only members of that profession will understand its meaning. So every profession has its jargon, and when they use it, for example, in medicine, when they begin to say some terms, a layman will not be able to understand that. That is jargon. And in building, when people that are in building technology begin to say their jargons, you may not be able to understand it as a layman. That is the meaning of jargon. But when we say slang, slang are those expressions that come with time. And it is always propelled by a certain group of people in the society. For example, you can hear a lot of jargons from musicians in Nigeria. I cannot be mentioning some slangs here in this class, but when something comes with time, and it usually emanates from a specific group of people, and from those set of people it now goes to the society, and everybody begin to use it to capture a particular expression. That is slang. Now, I don't think any one of them is coming to my head now that are not awkward. So, for example, on social media, you hear a lot of slangs. Can you have some of them? Slangs. Okay, Gen Z is a slang. When they say Gen Z, you already know the group of people they are referring to. Omble. When you say omble, that is a slang. What other slang? What's the law? Mafo. Breakfast. It's a slang. Breakfast. So that is what makes it different from jargon. So jargon is formal. Slangs are informal expressions. Register is formal. Jargon is formal, but slang is informal. In fact, most of the time it is colloquial. Okay, so any other question?
That's number 21.
Number 21. I think I have explained number 21. Number 21. Dash and dash are two types of letters that can be classified under information letter. Okay. Under information letter, we have inquiry letter. That's an information letter. We have introduction letter is an information letter. When you write introduction letter to an organization, you are introducing a particular product to them. You give information about that product. It's an information letter. So then the reply to a letter of inquiry is usually a quotation letter. So quotation letter is also information letter, where the organization will give you a list of their commodities and the price tag attached to each of them. That is also an information letter. So quotation letter, inquiry letter, introduction letter, they are examples of information letters. Any other question? I think that's all. Okay, if there are no questions again, I think this will be the end of our discussion for JNS 202. On Saturday or Sunday, we are going to send information as regards the day. That will be Saturday or Sunday. We are going to have discussion on GNS 102. So for your friends in ND1, let them know that we are going to have this kind of discussion on GNS 102. That will be on Saturday or Sunday, as the case may be. So, great scholars, I wish you success in your exam tomorrow and on Saturday. And please, you can subscribe to this channel so that you get notification. It's not only exam questions that we discuss here. We discuss several topics that are part of your academic requirements. Once we put up any lecture series here, now if you have subscribed to our channel, then you can have the notification immediately. So you can just come online to see whatever we have for you. So once again, I wish you success. I wish you good success in your examination. Good night, and see you at the top.